Bumblebees are the smartest insects known to humans. They have complex puzzle-solving capabilities. You could see this online. Just go to the university studies. They just study the heck out of these bees because they're just so fascinating. And also in regards to humans, it's a learned behavior how they're going to react with humans. Whether it's positive or negative depends on those observations that those bumblebees have made, and then they learn from them. So for instance, what I'm doing with these bumblebees is I'm feeding them. So when I first met them, they were kind of standoffish. A few was stinging me and so forth. But once I got them to the bee sanctuary, started feeding them honey, pollen, so forth, I literally just made friends with them. So when they see me, they go, okay, where's the honey? And so that brings me to my next point. What I want to do with these bumblebees is propagate them, right? So I've been doing some research. I found a few successful operations throughout the world. And the best one I found that I could duplicate was just this guy in Poland. He's got a screened room. I guess it's about 20 by 15, something like that. And he just grows them indoors, brings them all of their resources. And then at the end of the bumblebee season, which is around the fall, late summer, they make as many queens as they possibly can. They take females, they feed them extra pollen, they produce ovaries, and then they do a mating session, which would be done in that screened room. Then all the bumblebees die except, of course, the queen, and she hibernates. So then we would have them hibernate in special boxes that I've actually already made years back, just anticipating this opportunity, because first of all, finding a specimen is nearly impossible. So super rare. And basically once we get this going, for each queen that they produce would represent 100% increase, right? So if they just do one queen, that's just the same, it'd be 100. But if they do 7 queens, that'd be 700% increase. They can make up to 10 apparently. Then we can reintroduce them into areas that qualify. So the way that we would test that is basically send out honeybees, gather the data, the pollen, the honey, send it to the lab, and if it's a chemical-free zone, then we know that bumblebees can survive there. They're very sensitive. They're not nearly as robust as honeybees, which are in decline as well. But the bumblebee is literally in a war zone. It's not going to survive in the city. It's not going to survive next to people doing what I call the great fentanyl wars of the 2020s. They're only going to survive in chemical-free areas. And even in this nice area where I have them, I notice their numbers are dwindling because every time they go forage, they're basically going in a war zone. One neighbor uses some Roundup or some rose spray or a garden spray, whatever the case might be. That's going to compromise that bee. And since their numbers aren't huge, the queen's not laying 2,000 eggs like a honeybee, okay? She's an entrepreneur. She starts out by herself. The biggest hive I've seen is, I'm just going to be optimistic and say about 100, but it's probably less than 100. So that's my plan for this. The best way you can help me, if you have honeybees, call hivesavers.com. And if you don't have honeybees, you can also help me by going to Super Bee Plan, which is health and life insurance. Thank you for listening, and make it a great day.